can university administrations do to ease that sort of restrictions on an academic's autonomy? Because a large part of the furor around Professor Mehta's exit from Ashoka was saying that the administration and founders could have done better. In general, with university functioning and administration in your experience, what are some key points that professors like yourselves are asking for?
If you can get arrested, there's very little that a university can do about it, right? That is what most people who are targeted under UAPA are that's what's happening with them. I mean, they are arrested pending trial. And so even if the case is found to have no substance in it, the punishment is in awaiting trial for 5 to 6 years and being imprisoned during that time. So in that context, what universities are going to offer limited protections. What can a university do? It can safeguard your job, and it can commit itself to safeguarding your job while the nation does, or while the courts do with you what they will. And that protection is, of course, written into public universities and their tenure processes in a much more legally, at least in India, because we've had, many more examples of public universities functioning, of them, trying to implement laws that stifle what academics can say in public, or the belonging of academics to political parties, for example. These are all stifled by various rules. But the safeguards around the job are much more clearly codified and have been upheld over and over again in court. It's unclear how that would play out in the private university context, just because there hasn't been a lot of legal precedent around it, and because with private dealings, it's just the entire public knows, which is why there's such a rush for government jobs. It's just not as pakka as a government job. So I think, if private universities want to create those protections, they will have to think very seriously and carefully about how to ensure such protections within the university, how to make their hiring and their tenure process have more safeguards and more worth and more value, legally speaking. And of course, a lot just comes from the ways in which the university does or does not back a scholar who is under fire, right? Does the entire university rally behind somebody's free speech, or does the university think that they will suffer if they do this? And I think among academics, there are, you just find academics of all kinds. You find academics who think that being vocal and being visible will eventually cause problems. And mind you, they will. I mean, those of us who've spoken up have all seen and faced consequences for doing so. So it's true that happens. But at the same time, those who confront power in this way, at least are part of building the kinds of universities that make a university worth striving to build, in my opinion. And so, these tensions are something that every university space and every national space will have to think about together.
I think university administration could do much better, particularly in bigger universities. Administration has worked almost to block a number of things than facilitate, and so it has its own politics, of university administration, and it has its own logic. In my experience, smaller institutions don't have this kind of problem. The institutional administration is not the problem. However, I think the real problem is an absence of collective structures, an absence of collective vision is what then makes autonomy as an individual kind of experience, an individual case, and not a collective case. So it really depends on that particular individual, how well she or he negotiates her own autonomy, her own academic freedom, and that seems to be the route that a lot of people have taken in recent times.